Lando Norris. Oh, we need to talk about it now. We're going to have an honest conversation. It's time. I'm just going to tell you it completely as it is. So Lando has been in Formula One since 2019. He has seen off McLaren teammates like Carlos Sainz Jr., Daniel Ricciardo. Lando is the undisputed number one at McLaren, and he's really experienced. You probably don't know this, but Lando is probably in like the top 50 most experienced F1 drivers ever. He's had more Grand Prix starts than the likes of Jack Brabham, Damon Hill, Mario Andretti, Jackie Stewart. Like, he is really experienced at Grand Prix racing because we have a lot more Grand Prix races these days, obviously. Oscar Piastri comes in 2023, has a great rookie season. Really impressed a lot of people, including myself. We like the way he goes about business. He's got a cool head, but he's quite steely his way. The way he deals with Alpine, when Alpine are trying to do some funny business, saying he's their driver, he deals with it very well. Has an even better, in my opinion, 2024 season, but a lot of people say, hang on, Oscar Piastri's been battered by Lando in qualifying for 2 years in a row, which is true up to this point, and therefore he's not going to be a world champion while they're both at McLaren because Lando's going to beat him. We come to 2025, Oscar Piastri has an unfortunate result in Melbourne where he goes off the track, beats himself, gets out of the point and does an incredible drive that a lot of people don't notice to get back in and secure some points. But he has a really bad start to the season, and I say I'm really worried for Oscar Piastri because I felt like he had a good shot against Lando for the 2025 season and to win the championship, but I think McLaren are going to be like, Lando's a lot of points ahead already. Let's look after Lando. Let's be sensible here. We don't know how Mercedes or Red Bull or Ferrari are going to come into the season. And that starts to happen. Papaya rules or not papaya rules or whatever papaya rules is, McLaren look after Lando a little bit. They're looking after him in Australia in the first race already by telling Oscar not to push. And they look after Lando in subsequent races. Now Oscar Piastri has a great start to the season as well. Oscar Piastri's won 2 races. Lando's only won the 1 race. So it's a great turnaround for Oscar Piastri. And, in terms of F1, like their careers now, by the way, Lando's won 5 races. Oscar Piastri's won 4. Oscar Piastri is already basically here. So we come to Bahrain. Lando bottles quali a little bit the last lap. And then he has a good recovery, but then he misses his grid slot at the start, takes a 5-second penalty, which again harms him, probably costs him the PT because he can't overtake George Russell, who's none of his electronics are working in his car. So that's an own goal by Lando there. Now we come to Saudi, and Lando bins it in Q3. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying Saudi's an easy track. It's not. It's a really difficult track. People bin it all the time. However, this adds to... This is why I don't think this is Lando's fault. And this is why the thumbnail and the title of this video is the way it is. Because, Lando making a mistake in Q3 is going to happen this season. Like, no one expects Lando to be bulletproof like Max Verstappen. Like, I don't think anyone really expects that. You expect Max can go through a whole season and not make a mistake. That's Max. He's an alien. But you think Lando, he's more human. He hasn't been in that position yet. He's going to make a few mistakes. But if he's got a faster car, he can still win the championship. And so it's not, in isolation, it's not a problem. But the way Lando is on the radio, calling himself an idiot, and some of the things he's been kind of saying in the press, recently, I feel like this pressure of him being the number one driver is not correct. And I think McLaren need to play this better. McLaren have had Prost and Senna. McLaren have had Hakkinen and Coulthard. McLaren have had all these drivers that are big personalities. And now they have drivers that people are pretending are not big personalities. But Lando is a big personality. Oscar Piastri is a huge personality. I reckon Oscar Piastri is going to start to irritate a lot of Lando Norris fans and people around him because Oscar Piastri is so chill. And this is the thing. There's no shame in Lando Norris crashing in Q3, in my opinion. Like, there's no shame in it. It just means that at McLaren, who knows what's going to happen this season? In the same way that Oscar had a mistake in Melbourne. Lando made the same mistake but recovered it. Oscar went all the way into the grass, and in hindsight, I'm sure he would have tried to break in a straight line, go on the access road, come back and sacrifice 10 seconds but not lose the whole amount of time. But Lando was able to save it. This is what's going to happen over the course of the season. But now we have the McLaren fan base, and I've been following McLaren for like decades, are really loud, don't know what to do because Lando is their guy. And you even look when Oscar won in Bahrain, And did you see after the race when he got out, not a huge celebration. Yeah, Zach Brown's there, but not huge celebrations. Whereas when Lando Norris wins, massive celebrations. It's absolutely, everyone's jumping. It's all crazy. Like, Lando is their guy. And there's not a problem with that. Lando's been with them for ages. But I think McLaren need to front up here and say, we have two good drivers. Both of them are not perfect. Both of them are not Verstappen level. And hang on, Verstappen is dragging something out of that Red Bull that sometimes we don't even know how he's doing it, like in Japan. It's just a madness. And he stuck it on pole again in Saudi. So we need to be a little bit sensible here, because we were unable to get the title off him in 24, and McLaren kind of messed it up. Let's bear in mind, by the way, that Oscar Piastri was really supporting Lando a lot during the end of the season when McLaren were like, we're going to push Lando. Like, Lando's our guy. Maybe in hindsight, they shouldn't have done that. Maybe in hindsight, they should have really let them race and set up this season. Because they've come into this season where Oscar's been, really supporting Lando, and it's difficult to break out of that mould when you think of McLaren and the people around him. But it's got to change. So there's no shame if Lando is now a number 2 driver to Oscar Piastri. I don't think that lessens him. I don't think it's a disaster. I think it just happens. Like, honestly, I don't think anyone should look too much into it. I think McLaren actually need to let the boys race here. Like, let them race, let them scrap. Don't take each other out, but no one's going to be artificially protected. It's still too early in the season, and who knows what's going to happen. Oscar might make a mistake in a couple of races' time because he's still a very young and relatively inexperienced driver. So these are my thoughts. I think McLaren need to let them race. I don't think it's the end of the world that Lando's crashed, but it just adds to the narrative. But I don't think the narrative is right. I don't think they need to put Lando on this pedestal like he's some kind of godly driver. I think Lando is more lovable when we know that Lando has these interests outside of Formula One, and he is fallible, and he's human in a way that maybe Max is less so. Let me know what you think in the comments. Make sure you subscribe if you want to see more on this motorsport channel. Lots more coming. I'll be streaming the race tomorrow, and I'll see you then.